So, good morning or good evening, wherever you're watching this from. Today, this video is going to be a little more off the cuff. I was inspired by a comment I got on a waitlist form that I've set up for my community to be called Song Farm. And this community is a place designed to help connect, inspire, motivate other songwriters, artists, music producers, things like that. And one of the questions on the forum was, what are you looking to get out of this community? And the answer that came back was, rekindle my flame for songwriting. And I thought, man, that is really interesting because I've been there. A couple years ago, my story goes back to when I was 15, when I first fell in love with music. I had a best friend. He showed me Radiohead, the Benz album, and he played guitar. So I wanted to learn guitar after that, and I ended up practicing like a madman. Every day after school, I'd come home and I'd play in my room, and I would work on not just Radiohead, but I would learn the Eagles or Santana. I would learn all these guitar licks, and because there was so much passion there, I spent so much time doing it, and I got good at it just because I was so passionate about it. But as time goes on, we can lose that flame. And if we don't try to rekindle that flame, especially if we feel like a deep calling, a part of us that feels that we need to be in the arena of music, if not only to express a side of us that we feel we need to express, not looking for fame necessarily, not looking for whatever that is. To us, to me, success is finding, connection enough with my music. If there are just, a handful of strangers who resonate with my music, that is success for me. And starting there and following the journey. So anyway, I don't want to get too off track here. I want to talk about the idea of rekindling that flame of passion that you had for your songwriting, and a few ways that I found that helped me to get back into it. If you don't know me, I went to school for music in my 20s, and that's where things sort of fell apart for me. I sort of lost a lot of confidence there, and I kind of became very reclusive with my music. I always was writing music, but I never was sharing it, never pursued music in public, really. I had a band in my teens, and that was kind of when I was the most hot and heavy about this. I was really pursuing it, but I went through this sort of valley for a long time. And, about 3-4 years ago, I made a push to get back into it. And it was about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I started the first iteration of my songwriting community called Song Farm, where we would meet and we would share our songs over Google Meet and give and get feedback. And that was a big encouraging point for me. That helped me to see that there's a lot of other songwriters out there, that we're all unique, that all of our songs are valid. And I got a lot of encouragement from the people in the group who encouraged me to get my music out there. And that inspired me to produce and record my first single, which I released in February of last year. I suck at timelines, I forget. We just turned to 2026. This must have been hopefully it wasn't 2 years ago. It was in February of either 2025 or 2024 that I released my first single. And I am now currently knocking on the door of releasing my second single, which was another journey in itself, but it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't engaged in the songwriting community and started to share my music and get feedback and get encouragement from other artists who come from different walks of life, different ages, different styles of music, and all that stuff. So that was a big thing for me to rekindle that flame. But there was one step before that, which I didn't mention, and that was previous to that community. I would go out to local open mics with my girlfriend here. Thank goodness for her. I actually met her at an open mic. So I was going to these before I met her. But I went for about 6 months. I was going to open mics. And I felt like I was crap, kind of. I didn't feel too good about how I was sounding. I lacked confidence. The songs, I was playing covers at first, and then I would play more originals, and all of these little steps and episodes of going to an open mic, feeling like you did a crap job, maybe kind of redoubling your effort, saying, okay, next time I'm going to play this song, my original song, a bit better, which gets you to sit down and take it a bit more seriously. And then you go to the next one and you have that, a bit more success because you worked on the song a bit more, or you're more confident in it. So that was actually the first step. But, all of this started from this kind of internal seed in me that, I needed to output this music somehow. And I've talked a lot on this channel about, finishing faster, learning to trust yourself more as a songwriter. And honestly, it's a very internal journey a lot of the time. It does help to have a bit of a community, to have some accountability, to have people in your corner who are kind of checking in on you and moving you along. If you're struggling with your song, it can help to have somebody who's kind of written a few, who can help you to see with more clarity where you're stuck, kind of weed out the doubt and help show you that oftentimes the song that you think is crap, because we're so hard on ourselves, is actually not crap. It's actually pretty darn cool. But we don't always feel that way when we're the only ones writing the song. So it's particularly hard when you're a solo singer-songwriter and you're trying to do it all on your own. So those were a couple things that really kind of helped me to turn a corner. And now I'm on a different path where I just set a goal, a very loose goal. I haven't really formalized it, but personal goal that I should be releasing a song every month. I have probably 12 songs that could be recorded, that are written. It's just a matter of building up that determination and the grit, or what I find it can be very creatively challenging and draining to get in the studio and to show up there in that space where you're forced to confront your creative self that maybe you have not allowed into the room fully, or you have a hard time embracing. Maybe there's the fear that your neighbors are going to hear you singing. Maybe there's all these doubts in the process, and that's often what shuts us down too, is the fear of realizing that we are not the artist we want to be or think we are. And that's all part of the journey too. It's really, it's like Frodo in the ring. It's like having to bring the ring up to Mordor. That's what it feels like for me sometimes. But that's the beauty of the craft, not the craft, of the journey. It's the trials, it's the challenges. The beauty is that you grow as an artist every time you get a rep in. Every time you do it, You get a little better. You get a little confident, a little more confident, and you change. Like I've been changing too. And my second single, I think, is better than my first one. I mean, the songs are. I still like the songs, but the way I produced it and how the playing is tighter, the production is tighter. I took a mixing course between releasing these singles, and I feel a different kind of relationship to mixing now. So it's all a journey. And if you're trying to rekindle that flame, and sorry, this has been a really loose narrative. If you're trying to rekindle that flame, you have to start somewhere. And oftentimes it's just listening to that little voice inside of you saying, okay, I should probably do that thing. And then go and do it. And maybe it goes well. Maybe it doesn't go so well. And it's uncomfortable. And you walk home and you feel kind of, like a turd because you didn't play that song as well. If you're as hard on yourself as I am, you can relate to that. God bless the artists who just don't think about this so much and just get up there and flow. That's often, in my experience, the younger artists who don't know what they don't know and they don't care, and they just get up there and they perform, and God bless those people. I hope, I aspire to find that freedom in myself again too. And it's all just from taking step after step. I don't want to get into a big thing about energy, but energy is also very, very important. I'll give you a quick story and then I'm going to wrap this up. So I was with a client who's also been looking to rekindle their flame of creativity. And we had a goal of working on a particular song that day, but they weren't really feeling it. There's pressure there. They felt the pressure to perform. They felt the pressure that it had to be perfect. We were going to record some rough takes for a later production. But the vibe was off and we weren't connecting on that song. And so instead of trying to force something that wasn't feeling good, we decided, let's just play through some of your other songs. Pick one that is calling to you. Pick a song that feels good to play. And so they did. And they started playing through like their catalog. And as we kept progressing, the songs started to feel looser and warmer and hit, like they just felt more relaxed. They sounded truer, and I could feel the energy shift in the room. It just felt a lot. It felt like what music was supposed to be about, like not performing for an outcome, but to share the joy of writing and playing a song. So, end of story here. Basically, we get to the end of the session almost, and we decide, okay, well, let's go back to that first song that we were not feeling. And that take at the end was so good. And even the client was like, well, that's like the best take we've done of that song. And it was because, in my opinion, the energy was different. We weren't coming from a place of pressure and expectation and needing to get it right. It was more like, hey, we just played through a bunch of songs. These are feeling really good. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling connected to my music again. And then let me just carry that through to this other song. And, we were recording the take, thankfully. And, yeah, it's all energy. It sounds like such a hippie thing to say, but it's all energy, man. So getting out to these other arenas, environments, open mics, songwriting communities, and shifting your energy, trying to approach it from a place of play, freedom, enjoyment, taking the pressure out of it. That's really going to be monumental in getting you some momentum. Once you find the fun in it again, once you find the joy and the expression, and the part where it's like, hey, this is fun, and the expectations of this has to be a certain way are gone, then that flame starts to build. So thanks for watching. This has been a huge ramble, but yeah, I hope some of this was helpful for you. If it was, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.